wanted to bring her root down. And then we have 6 NRV, the hair, 3N, fine tooth comb that's gonna move that product. All right, you guys, welcome back, and we're doing Melting into Fall the 3rd time. So I nicknamed this technique Pop Balayage, and it's an awesome technique for pretty much any guest. I'm going in and I'm applying my root color. I mix 3N and 6N RV Joico Lumishine permanent color and 20 volume. I really love the NRVs, and the reason I mix it with the 3N is because I wanted it to be like a level 4.5-ish for her root. So I'm going in and applying this in a teardrop formation. And in our last video, you learned that that's basically applying less up in the front and more through the back, so that the color goes from higher up to lower. So we're gonna go in and apply all of that. And today we're gonna do this technique a little bit differently. And once you see how easy it is to customize and get a completely different look, you're gonna be absolutely obsessed if you're not already. My low light formula is 6NRG. And the reason I mixed the 6NRG is because it's a brighter red. It has gold in it, so it's gonna be bright. Against this violet, this red, and then the copper that I tone her with is gonna be absolutely beautiful. I love violet and copper together, and on this one, I really wanted to just have fun with you guys. So we have the violety brown root color, a nice bright red for her low light, and then we have the Joico Blonde Life, and I'm gonna mix 30 volume, and at the end, I'm gonna tone it all together with a copper. So it's really gonna be a beautiful redhead. And very like creative color, you know, violet and coppers together. You might not think to put them together, but they're amazing and beautiful because they do kind of clash, but in the best way ever. So you'll see all that at the end. And if you know what I mean about violets and coppers together, can you just let me know that you're with me? Because if you love them together, you know it's just a beautiful combination. Love to do like a 3 violet root with like a bright copper. It's so dope. All right, so we've got the root color applied, and this sectioning that we're gonna do is a little bit different, so stay with me. Again, we're using our wide tooth comb. Got all our doll head hair in there, but our wide tooth comb, this is from YS Park. This comb is, let's see which number it is. YSCR 452, this comb, love it. So I'm gonna go in, comb everything down, make sure I have control over the hair. Visually look at my root melt, make sure it looks good. Looks good, looks good. We've already applied up here. Great. So let's get her sectioned out, and her sectioning is going to be different than what we've been doing so far. But it's very close to the sectioning that I taught you in 5 Ways to Foil 1 and in 5 Ways to Foil 2. So my first section is going to be a mohawk section. And I know that you guys are gonna love the way I apply this more than any other way. I just know you're gonna love it because it's just so easy and so fun. So I'm gonna take my mohawk and just make sure that her head stays on the tripod. You don't rip her head off. Make sure that her part falls somewhere in between that mohawk. So if her part is over here, the mohawk needs to move over here. Okay, and that's with anything up in the top. You wanna make sure the part is there because then when it falls through, it'll be even on both sides. Perfect, so we're gonna take that first section and clip it off. Now our next section is going to be a horseshoe section all across her head. So, let's see. We're gonna start by going behind the ear and drawing a straight line to the other ear. Am I good? Perfect. All right, so once you have that horseshoe section all across the head, you're pretty much done sectioning. Great. So you can split it in half, and these are going to be your two sections in the middle. And this is where most of the impact is going to happen, and then we'll finish off with the top. Grab our clip it off. You can tie these in knots, Zulu them, twist them, whatever. I'm trying to keep the hair from touching each other, so I'm just gently clipping it off. If you don't have an assistant working with you, or if you're nervous and you don't want any of the colors to mix, you can always put a foil here and just lay the foils on top. So always keep that in mind if you find that you're like, oh, I don't know, or this is messy, or if you try it and you're like, I don't know. You can lay stuff in between, and you can always lay a foil over, or you can have someone help you and hold for you. All right, you guys, so we just did a mohawk section. We want to make sure her part is somewhere in the middle. We did a horseshoe section through the middle, starting behind the ear and just really drawing a line to the other ear. And then this here, we have a bunch of different options. We can do traditional melting in a fall, where we go diagonal, horizontal, diagonal, horizontal. Very easy, very fast. Or we can go a little bit different. I can make a triangle here, can make a triangle here, can make a triangle here, and can make a triangle here. So now I have 4 sections. They're all triangles, but the only difference is they're steep and vertical triangles. So these are gonna have more pop, right? So it's a really cool technique, and it reaches the perimeter, and it's pretty freaking awesome. So I'm gonna do the bottom like this, and I want you guys to think of it this way. These pieces look very similar. When the triangle is pointing down, when the point in the triangle is pointing down, it's gonna have more of an impact because that wider section up here is shattering through. When the point is facing on the top, it's gonna be a little bit softer. You're not gonna really see where that color is coming from, but here you will. So how you place that triangle pointing up or pointing down will give you a different look. But it's very like slight, you know what I mean? So you can play with this and try and see what your favorite things to do are. So my first section, I'm gonna go with my root. My second section, I'm gonna go with my red. That was my mid color. My next section, I'm gonna go with my root again. And then my next section, we'll go in with my red. And really just did that whole back in 4 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I'll do here, just because I thought of it, I'll bring this, and I'm just gonna like wipe it slightly and put my root color on that other end, just so it's even on both sides. So it'll be root color, red, and it's all broken up, but it starts the same on each side. So you can go here and you can go, you know, root color, low light, highlight, root color, low light, highlight, root color, but make sure that what you start with, you end with, and try not to make everything clash in the middle. So if you have to go one side to the other, if you have to adjust here and there, that's totally fine. But all I did was I made this section here a little bit smaller and I put the root on just to correct that. Cool. So we've got root, root, red, red, root, red. Or wait, I'm sorry, hold on. We have root, red, root, red, root. There we go. So we made 5 sections. Sorry about that, you guys. Root, red, root, root. So now we have the whole bottom done. We have the dark built in, and now we're gonna go in and put some more dimension. Okay, guys, so I pre-sectioned everything and we're gonna start in the back for the better guest experience. If we start in the front, what could happen is the hair could be hanging in their face. So let's start in the back. Now I'm gonna start in the back in the middle. Let's see, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my red. And the same as our previous techniques, you can layer these colors on top of each other, you can weave, you can melt into one another. You can really get creative, but for this technique, I'm gonna go in and show you guys just basics, how to apply it in. So that looks great. For my next section, I'm gonna go in here, get control over the hair, control, control, control. And then I'm gonna go in with my lightener and paint in some pop pieces. Whatever you do, just make sure you're gluing and applying this, you know, pretty consistently, because vertical is an unforgiving placement. So if I were to glue this higher here, lower there, and if I were to be inconsistent, it might look a little wonky. Great, so we're gonna blend that up. It's nice and saturated. Love Joico Blonde Life. I really love how it spreads and how it works and the lift that you get from it. So I'm gonna go ahead. That's all applied. I'm gonna blend out that other side. Blend, blend, blend. And then we're gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna move that previous hair out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and just drop it down. Beautiful. Our next section. I'm gonna go to the other side and we're gonna work this way, so I'm going back and forth and I'm not being inconsistent. I love it. I love vertical, I love chunky. I've been talking about chunky highlights for like 10 years, always loved doing them. A lot of my clients had bold dimension in their hair and they would send me so many people because their hair always got them a lot of attention. People were always like, I love your hair. I had one client who used to get stalked, like literally people loved her hair so much she would send me so many clients, and it's because she had back-to-back like 4 chunk slices. So I would go back-to-back slice and do like 4 slices on her in a row for her foils. And the slices were really, really skinny, but she had like thick pops in her hair and it looked really dope. But chunky's cool, gives a lot of attention. So for my next section, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna bring that root color down. Bring it down, bring it down. Flip to the other side. Grab that hair. Grab, grab, grab. And apply that root color. Now, if you get any product transfer, just wipe your hands, grab the section, just blend it out. This is really breaking the rules. If you're new and I'm freaking you out right now, or if you're very by the book and I'm freaking you out right now, you guys, I've been doing hair like this for so long and really nothing bad has happened to me. I love to be creative. I love to have a blueprint and I love to follow the rules, but I do love to break them and I love to create new things. So I know that this could look a little wild, and I know that when you see the color transfer, if you see anything crazy, you're probably like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But listen, you guys, trust the process. You got this. My next section is gonna be my red. That's my 6NRG. It's gonna be a bright red, really beautiful. Has that little gold undertone, which is gonna make it light and bright. Beautiful. Drop that down. Take on my next section, my red. Great. Now our next section is going to be a balayage. So we're going to take that section, and this is where it starts getting interesting, because now we're in the front of the head, and if you look at where the hair falls and we drop this down, we can paint the front or the back of this section. If she likes it brighter towards her face, or if she wants it brighter in the front, you could paint the front. If she likes it darker, you could paint the back. Somewhere in the middle, can paint the top, but on your triangle pointing down pieces. So we'll paint the front there, give her some brightness around her face. Now here, when you lay the hair down, you're just going to be laying it a little bit differently. You still want to make sure you're laying the hair down nicely. But since we're painting the front, like the very front of this hair, first off, make sure the back is blended. And then when you do it, just take your comb and face it back like that. And just let it fall. If you don't use your comb and you let it lay flat, it's gonna bend and split and be weird. So just use your comb. So this is gonna be her root, but I'm gonna do something a little different here. Since I'm running into this where I have my last section and I want it to be blonde or copper, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. And anytime I run into when I don't have enough sections or whatever, because you guys, that's gonna happen, I'm gonna go in and just weave it and paint one red, one brown. That way it's not too light in the front. Because if I go brown and then light, it's not gonna have that red in there, right? So just go through and make those sections smaller. You can weave them however you want to do it. This section is gonna be my root color. And because that's on a vertical angle, it's gonna give a beautiful shadow right behind her money piece. Good. So I'm gonna switch to the other side. And we'll do her money piece last when we get to the front. We'll kind of incorporate everything together. Great, so our next section is gonna be that balayage section. Remember, she wants it brighter towards the face. You can see. Remember, she wants it brighter towards the face. So we're gonna paint the front. Once that's saturated, blend out the back of the hair, blend out the front, and then use the back of your comb to just flip it back. I love it. Now for her next section, we're gonna break this up into a red and a brown. So we're gonna go in, do a little weave, 1, 2, 3. We'll do red in the back, brown in the front. And I choose the darker one in the front just because it'll give a strong shadow, but if she wanted that red around her face, you can totally put red right behind her money piece. That is gonna pop. That's really gonna accentuate the red. If you put the red behind the money piece, like if they say like, oh, when people look at you, do you want them to see a blonde brunette? If they want to see a redhead, put that red behind that money piece. It'll be pretty dope. Great. All right, so we're done with the middle. That didn't take too long, right? It's pretty quick and it's pretty fun. So when you try it, I know you're really gonna like it. And let me know if you do. And I can't wait to see what you create with it. Make sure you send me what you create. And if you like customize this placement, I wanna hear about it, show me. You can always send me a DM. You can always reach out. Beautiful. So we're gonna save those pieces for after and we're gonna move into the top. All right, you guys, so we just finished the middle and we're moving our way on to the top section. This sectioning is super easy, super fast, and you can use this for any of the melting into fall variations. You can use it as a quick add-on in the sink. You can use it a million different ways. So just take this beautiful tool and enjoy it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go and make a triangle section here, up through the top. And then we're gonna take another triangle section. And that will be our first. So our next section is gonna be horizontal this way, and then diagonal, diagonal, horizontal. So it's all gonna come together. My first section, remembering that all of this hair back here, typically a guest likes to keep their depth. Depending on what your guest wants, you might put some highlights up here, you might melt it, you might keep it darker. Keep in mind, depending on what the guest wants, it's all customizable. So what I'm gonna do up here is I'm gonna take her root color, I'm gonna drop my elevation pretty low and melt that down, and I'm gonna melt my root color into that red. This is where I'm gonna start getting my creative melting going on. Beautiful. Looks good. Gonna take our other section here. Remember, we're gonna drop that elevation, bring that root down, and then blend that red right into it. I love it. Already know it's gonna be amazing. Our next section is going to be horizontal. Now, sorry. So my next section is going to be horizontal, and you have the choice whether you go horizontal meeting the points or if you want to do smaller horizontal sections. So if your guest wants highlights, thinking about how this is going to fall, remember that when you split it and when it falls vertically, that's how it's going to fall. When you take a horizontal section up here, because it's really a vertical section if you really think about it because of how it falls. So when I take my horizontal, I'm going to remember that this is going to be my most powerful placement, this horizontal, because it falls like this. So keeping that in mind, I'm gonna decide what colors I want here. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna give her some more pop. And remember, we're toning her with a copper. So any blonde or balayage I put is going to be copper. So I wanna visualize it like that. So I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna balayage. And you can saturate all the way through, you can surface paint, you can really get that product in there, or you can just give them a little sun-kissed look. You could take big sections and leave a big fat reserve underneath, so it's just kind of surface painted. You could take tiny sections, push that color all the way through. It really is up to you and up to your guests what they want. So I'm gonna blend. Blend, blend, blend. You wanna make sure that there's not excess product on the back of this section, because if there is, you might get a bleed mark, you guys. If there's excess product, if you don't do that blending that I'm doing. So you see here, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use those 3 fingers. I've taught you this in a few videos now. Back here. Keep your tension and use those fingers to blend the back. If you miss that step, you could have loose color, and when you have that loose color back there, it could transfer and spread. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the top. I'm just gonna switch to these fingers. Now under here, you should not have a lot of loose product. You should not really have any, but I'm gonna take the back of my comb, gently remove any excess, blend one more time, and then drop it. I took my neck sections down, my triangles, my diagonals, and I'm gonna go in with my root color. Remember, when we bring that root color down, that's gonna give us a more blended look. If you don't bring the root color down, you're gonna get more of an ombre look. Beautiful. We're almost there, you guys. We're gonna take our next section. Remember, I took a little triangle last time, but you always have the option of taking a big one. If you don't take a big one and you take a little one, remember, no matter what, the hair falls like this. So the bigger your section, the chunkier the look. So I'm gonna make my triangles a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna do my balayage again. Lay that product on. Make sure you're right in front of your section if possible. Good body position is going to make this so much easier for you. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to back brush that up. And we're going to use that blending motion again. So we're going to go through, grab, grab, grab. Back brush up. Back brush up with those fingers. Make sure we're all blended, and you can always use the back of your foiling comb to remove any excess product if you're nervous, but your fingers should do the trick. So we're going to double check that we're saturated again. One last blend for good measure. Take a peek at your work and then drop it down. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to turn her so we can see the front. We still have our money piece section and this top section. So what I'm going to do here is take one more set of triangles, and this is going to be red. Let's do red behind that money piece. I think it will look cool. We did brown behind the money piece on the sides. Let's do red here to see how it looks. Give her a nice pop. So I'm going to take my red, and remember this is 6 NRG with 20 volume, Joico Lumishine. And then we have 6 NRV, 3N for her root and low light formulation. I'm gonna bring that through, and I'm gonna go ahead and over direct this back so that it lands back and isn't falling on any of her previously lightened hair. Gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. Beautiful. Bring that back, lay it down nice and neat. And as you guys can see, I was sharing with you earlier about the processing. Like, look how cool this looks to process. It's just so awesome. And it really makes like, it really just shows the artistic part of what we do. Beautiful. I love it so much. My favorite thing to do behind the chair, honestly, is placements like this that let me be creative, but also give me a blueprint of what I'm doing, so I know I'm gonna achieve the look I want. So now we're at her money piece, her front section. I'm gonna gain control over the hair. Control, control, control. And you can remix if you want here. I'm just gonna use the same color I have. But if you want this to be brighter, you could totally remix. Or you could apply it first, let it sit. You could put it in foils. You could go right to her skin in money piece, or you could do weave, weave, slice, weave, 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 slice, and then color in between. A lot of stuff you can do, you guys. Looks good. So now I'm gonna kind of pull the hair forward, and I'm gonna keep that vertical section, blending the back. Treat this section kind of like its own here. Painting both sides of her money piece. Using my wide tooth comb to gain control if I lose tension, which I did. What I'm gonna do, just go in. And then that blend move that I did, we're gonna do the same thing. Around her face. I know we can get really nervous in the front and we can try to paint backwards. We could try to do a back bend and paint it, try to get it off their face, do all the things that we want to do. But this technique here, just blending it out with your hands and working it, it works. So now I trust my technique. I trust that the other side of this is blended. I really do. But let's check just in case. Yeah, looks perfect. Beautiful. So you guys can see. Blend that in. And then I'm gonna take my my long-tailed foiling comb and just drop it down. Nice and easy. You could bring it back. You can put it in a foil. You can, anything you wanna do. This technique is gonna become your own, and you're gonna find ways to utilize it that you absolutely love. Beautiful. So the next section, her money piece here. I'm gonna leave that to the side. Work on her other side here. Now I'm gonna do this quicker for you so you could just see like salon reality what I would do. Glue, 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 feather, feather, feather. Now I'm plating pretty high, which means this hand, when I go to grab it, I'm not just going down here, I'm going pretty high now. Feather, 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 feather. Beautiful. Because I was plating high, there's product there, okay? Is it blended right now? No. All I do, keep my tension, blend the back, Keep my tension, keep my tension, keep my tension. Nice and blended. So we're just gonna make sure we're saturated again, because with all that motion, we could wipe some of the product off. So just make sure it's nice and saturated. Beautiful, you guys. It's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna drop that down. And remember, you could put a foil here, you could lay it back, you could do whatever you want, but I'm just gonna drop it down for now. I'm gonna move on to my last section, you guys. And while I do that section, I wanna recap with you. We learned so much about melting into fall. We learned so much about color placement. We learned so much about just where the hair falls and what you can do with just that information. This technique, I know, will change your life by helping you make more money. It's gonna make your beautiful, amazing guests feel so much better. It's gonna bring out their beauty. It's gonna get them excited. It's gonna put more money in your pocket. It's gonna increase your salon's reputation, especially online. If you post pictures of these processing, you guys, they're beautiful. I'm not gonna pull this back. I'm gonna split this and paint this way. Beautiful, so we're gonna pinch and paint. But today we did melting into fall vertically, AKA pop balayage. And I showed you guys with triangles how you can get max dimension, how you can get a few different looks, how to blend your balayage, and a lot of formulations. So I really hope that you try this technique, and what I would recommend you do is try it on a doll head a bunch of different times. And try it with all different formulas, and try it with big sections, small sections, steep sections, wide sections. Like, try it all different ways, and then try it on your guests. Because if you try it on a doll head, you're gonna realize how easy it is, and you're gonna get 10 times more creative with your guests behind the chair, because you're gonna have that confidence because you've tried it already. So make sure that you practice. And make sure that you keep the key points in mind. Your tension, your sectioning, your neatness, wiping your hands, gently laying that color down. All right, you guys, we made it to our last piece. I cannot believe it. We've learned so much together. So proud of you for making it this far. And I cannot wait to see what you create after watching this program. So we're gonna finish painting this in. We're gonna let her process for about 35 minutes. We're probably gonna mush everything and give her, you know, a natural look, and then gloss her with a beautiful copper. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to show you the finished look. All right, you guys, there you have it. I just got through my last application of melting into fall. This is our pop balayage placement, our vertical placement, our most pop-in placement. Absolutely beautiful. I showed you with some red formulation, and we did a beautiful job in the application. You know, pat myself on the back here. But this is what it should look like. It should look really interesting, really cool. And if you post pictures of this on your social media, you guys, people are gonna flip out. They're gonna love it. So I hope that you love this application, and I cannot wait to show you the finished look. We are back with our red head melting into fall model, you guys. I love her. Our pop balayage model, just one of the million variations of my melting into fall technique. I love it so much. So if you remember, we went in with her roots and we went in and used 4N, 6NRV, and we have that violet kick up at the root, and we pulled that through slightly, and we used 6NRG in there as well, and then toned with 6NC copper. I love copper and violet together. I think it's so beautiful. I think it just makes it look so dreamy and different. Try it. If you haven't tried it, it's very inspiring. I love doing coppers and violets in my reds. So I hope that you love this technique, you guys. Try it. Try it on everyone. Try it on your doll heads. Ask questions. Be creative. These techniques are made for you to take to the next level. So I hope that you enjoyed this program, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much.